Never broken. I don't need to see the signs. Take me to a new place. Oh, I don't need to see the signs. I know your love, it takes me high. I don't need to see the signs. Take me to a new place. I don't need to see the signs.
Spit the fire, everybody's mad now.
I don't need to see the signs. Take me to a new place.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Neutral News Network. I'm Brian alongside Zach and Jake, and we are here on August 8th, 2025. And
What?
we have what? Or August 8th. Did I say August 8th?
Yeah.
August 20th. August
August
20th.
20th.
8/8/28. We've time traveled. Believe it or not, we invented a time machine within the last week. We are all geniuses here. But no, so it is August 20th, 2025. Man, I wish we could invent a time machine. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be nice.
We can discuss where we would go if we had one trip in a time machine and a return trip back. We don't have to necessarily stay where we go. So we'll cover that in another episode. But anyways, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and cover the meeting between Trump and Putin that happened in Anchorage, Alaska. And then we're going to briefly talk about the subsequent meeting between Trump and Zelenskyy in the White House. And then after that, we're just going to have like a little bit of a short form conversation on, things like one thing that each one of us would want to see changed. In the good old United States of America. It could be anything from you want to see more dog parks to you want to see the advanced collapse of end stage mercantilism. I don't know. So whatever floats your boat. That's going to be kind of a grab bag and kind of your own opinion and kind of tell us why you feel that way. And then we will probably wrap it up with a fun little 10 bit and maybe talk about Hurricane Aaron at the end of the day because that if we can pull up some of the images of the satellite images from today, that was gorgeous. But yeah, for Aaron, yeah, some of the satellite images have been phenomenal from what I've seen today. But yeah, but it's big and swirly. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and crack into the top three articles on the U.S. economy on Ground News. Again, we love using Ground News. It's a great resource. Couldn't recommend it more. And personally, it's free to use, and we think that it is a phenomenal resource for somebody who's trying to go out there and aggregate as many news sources as possible. So, yeah, just let me know when that is ready to roll, Zachary, and good to go. All right, let's do it. Perfect.
He's on it, Brian.
Uh,
He's on it.
I don't know. Probably Danny DeVito. He's probably here somewhere. Anyways, Trump calls for Fed Governor Lisa Cook to resign after accusation of mortgage fraud. So, I was reading this article a little bit, and it looks like she took out a loan, or sorry, took out a mortgage. She's accused of taking out a mortgage on a Michigan home and a, let me see, a on a Georgia property while claiming both as primary residences through the Georgia home, though the Georgia home was reportedly listed for rent. Um, so that is what she's being accused of, and Donald Trump is asking her to step down. Um, Realistically, he's just shouting at the Fed and trying to find anything for them to be um, doing something wrong so he can, realistically appoint somebody else to their positions. He's been trying to get Jerome Powell, air quotes, fired for the last few months now. Um, you know,
Yeah, we've
talking
talked
about,
about that.
yeah. So I think this is, obviously it's serious if she did commit mortgage fraud. However, this is simply an accusation, not a confirmation. And the fact that he's kind of leaping out and, claiming her guilty before being proven innocent is not really a shock. But it does kind of show that he is very dissatisfied with the Fed and what they're doing right now. Obviously, he still wants interest rates cut, and there were two dissenters. I might want to, or I might bring that up. The fact that I don't believe she was one of them, but there were two dissenters on the Fed board that basically said that they wanted that 0.25 interest rate cut. The rest of the board, though, said that they did not want to cut rates. Um, so that is interesting. There are some people who are starting to dissent against the Fed keeping rates where they are, and we'll see if that kind of budges as the weeks and months go on. Obviously, there's been some data that's come out since since the Fed made their decision that shows that inflation is starting to tick up. Actually, I believe there was an article today that showed that the Sony is increasing its price on its PS5 by $50 to $100 because of the tariff situation. So it is simply only a matter of time until those costs get pushed to the consumer. All right, which kind of leads us into the next article. So Fed is divided and worried about tariffs, inflation, and the labor market. The minutes show. So every time the Fed meets, there are a set of minutes that they release post meeting that obviously explains who said what, why, or like, and when they said it, and in relation to who. And it also tells you like potentially who is on what side. You can see who dissents, and depending on the type of meeting as well, they can release what's called who dissents, and meeting as well, they can release what's called a it's basically a graph that shows where each Federal Reserve board member sees the interest rate being at a given time in the future. So, the dot plot, you could see it being at 5%, 5%, you know, 4.75, 2.5%, 0%. That would be like the Federal Reserve sees an economic collapse on the way. So they're seeing interest rates going down to zero. Now, vice versa, you could see a situation where it goes 5%, 5%, 4.75%, 5.2%. Like maybe they drop interest rates, inflation ticks back up, and they have to raise interest rates again. So you could see the dot plot come out in a litany of different ways. But that's obviously all based upon their opinion. The dot plot is notorious for not being accurate. But this the meetings basically highlighted the fact that you're going to have these trade-offs with inflation and the jobs market, and I think they're starting to see that that they could potentially be going the wrong way at the wrong time. The job market looks to be weakening while inflation looks to be rising due to interest or due to tariffs, and that is just something that the Federal Reserve does not have the tools to manage. So that'll be very interesting to see if they can thread the needle there, because at that last meeting they stated that their biggest concern was inflation, not the jobs market. Pretty much every single Federal Reserve board member stated that the dangers and the risks of inflation outweigh the risks of job loss.
But Brian,
So,
don't they
okay.
correlate somewhat?
Well, that's the thing, is that you can have, so it's the whole stagnation principle, the fact that, like, these prices, they rise and then the job market stalls, so the cost of the cost of goods increases while wages stagnate. So that's stagflation. That's the stuff that the government, or like, yeah, the Federal Reserve, like, they can't combat that
Right. Yeah,
because,
you can't.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, they can, well, ideally, if everyone loses their jobs, right? Let's just say if every single person in the United States lost their jobs tomorrow, right? So in 6 to 12 months, you would start seeing prices have to come down regardless of what's happening, because
Mm-hmm.
consumers can no longer afford to buy goods. However, you would also see an increase in bankruptcies because nobody's buying goods. So it could start an endless feedback loop where businesses go bankrupt because people can't afford goods. More people get laid off because they can't, because nobody's buying goods. And then it's just this endless cycle. And then that's where the government has to send rates down to 0%, inject a shit ton of money into the economy to basically force people to buy stuff so that these companies don't go bankrupt. So you see where that can be a problem real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the big concern, and that's what happened in 2008. Basically, is the entire economy slowed down after the housing market exploded. All these people were underwater on their mortgages because the housing market started to drop. They paid way too much on these homes, and then the economy slowed. People got laid off. They couldn't afford their houses. Their houses got foreclosed on, and then people were out of money. Their credit was ruined, and then it was
It's
just this
very,
downward spiral. Yeah.
like similar of kind of what we're
and
seeing right
and
now.
it is, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. We've said that multiple times on this show,
Yeah.
and that rings true today. We've had a housing boom, um, followed by, now we've got an inflation boom that's gone along with it. That obviously the boom and inflation has stopped, and we're kind of teetering on the point of just starting to wiggle our way back up again. And that's the thing, is that the Fed's like, hey, if we have inflation take off again, we're not lowering rates. Like, I'm pretty sure they've pretty much come out and said that, like, unless the job market explodes, they are going to keep rates high. And that means, if we get more inflation data before their next meeting and it comes in high, they might not cut rates. And I believe that the market has priced in a 97% chance right now that the Federal Reserve will cut rates in September. So the market is almost certain that they're going to do it. But I guarantee you, if we get another hot inflation print, they're not going to do it. And the market's going to be caught on the wrong side of it. So, yeehaw. All right. The last article, Trump buys more than $100 million in bonds in office. So Trump did a stock purchase
His
disclosure.
personally
Yeah.
he bought these.
Yep. hmm Yeah.
That's allowed.
Well, that's the wonderful thing in Congress, is that yes, it is allowed as long as you disclose it, and even if you don't disclose it, the fines are pretty meaningless. Honestly, I think they're like a few $100s. Like, all the
What?
Texas, all the Texas representatives who were gone got fined $500 a day, and I think, and again, don't quote me on this, but I believe Ron Johnson, Republican senator from Wisconsin, um, did not file $26 million in stock purchases and sales, and got fined $500 or $600. I think that was it.
What the hell?
Even though
All
he
right.
didn't, yeah.
Why
So,
is that not? wha- What's the point of disclosing it?
um, so that you don't get fined the six. I mean, realistically, like,
But
he could have
that
just
doesn't
not.
matter
Yeah,
to them.
right. It doesn't matter. I mean, quite clearly. I mean, he's also the person who was speaking on Capitol Hill, saying that he doesn't want insider stock trading banned for Congress and the Senate because he doesn't want to be poor. That was his exact quote. He's like, "Do you want to be poor? Because I don't," is what he said. So there's that, and additionally, I mean, there's
there's a
been
lot of poor
bipartisan,
people out there.
right, who don't trade stock, believe it or not. Well,
You're
but that's
right.
what he's saying. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be one of those people. Yeah, how dare he represent his constituents instead of enriching himself? But hey, I digress. But
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
the right
there's
podcast.
yeah, right. Well, no, it is, but we'll if we have a dedicated episode to that.
Oh, that's
Uh,
fair. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
good point.
But we've also got to. I mean, there's bipartisan legislation that has gone into the House and to the Senate. I believe Josh Hawley is actually a huge proponent of banning stock trading. And Josh Hawley was just to put it in perspective, he was 100% in favor of questioning the results of the 2020 election. So he's not exactly a very moderate Republican. But yeah, he's in favor of this ban, and he actually, I believe, worked with I forget who the or the Democratic senator was, but I believe it was Ro Khanna in the
To be
House.
to be fair, if Major League Sports, you can't bet on those if you're a player.
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing.
And I think that's like people don't realize like these politicians are in a sense like professional athletes in that regard. Like, they don't inherently control the outcome all the time, but there are times where they do and they can. Like, this
Yeah.
incident's no offense to your Guardians, Jake, but you have
No,
two relief pitchers who get caught, throwing the pitch at the
and then
very
bet.
beginning, there's the
Yeah,
ball and getting caught.
yeah,
It's no different than Ron Johnson betting or buying $100 in Nvidia, right? And then saying
right.
the next day after he buys Nvidia, like the state of Wisconsin has issued a $3.4 million grant to the city or to the company of Nvidia for them to go and build a new data center in Racine.
Oh, it's right
Oh,
there. Yeah.
hey, oh,
Wow.
well, I didn't even notice that. I probably just saw it in the corner of my
It's even
eye.
better because it says blind spots.
Yeah, it was in my blind spot, and I still said it. um, but yeah, and then next thing you know, that $100 that he put in Nvidia is worth 250. It's like his direct action caused it to go up. So that's 100% insider trading, and yet yes, they can do that. That is something that they are technically within their current rights to do, as screwed up as it is. So,
Yeah, it's crazy.
but just to go into wrap up that article, so
It's crazy to me that they could do it, but like companies can't do it.
correct. Like you as a CEO cannot insider trade, but yet the government can do it willy nilly.
Willy nilly. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I don't think any insider trading is allowed. I mean,
I
theoretically,
agree.
you can't. I mean, you can't insider trade. I can't insider trade. Zachary can't insider trade, but yet people in Congress can. Um,
That's crazy to me.
but yeah, to wrap up that article, those were all purchases that Donald Trump has made since January 21st, since he was inaugurated, and they're a litany of purchases, including cryptocurrency, um, properties, things like that, and stakes in different country companies. Um, but yeah, so he, I think, yeah, so 600 total financial transactions with no sales. So um, obviously, it brings up a point of conflict of interest. Is he just trying to benefit these companies since he bought huge shares in them? It's kind of like what we just talked about. I mean, it's tough to say. Donald Trump kind of does whatever the hell he wants. So, but some of the companies are
And
Citigroup,
and
Morgan
and to
Stanley,
be
Wells
fair,
Fargo.
if
Oh,
I
good.
could get away with it, wouldn't you? If you could get away with it as president, wouldn't you do whatever the hell you want?
See, that's the thing. Is like, no. I feel like
Was that
I
because of morals, or is that because of
I feel like it's because of ethics. Like,
ethics? Yeah,
yeah, like I can take the what is it when you get hired at a new job, you have to sit down and take like the ethics training course, like
yeah, the
d-
onboarding ethics
yeah,
like
how to
stuff.
how to
Yeah,
not how to not commit fraud. Like it's Zachary works for a telecommunications service and I work for a local government, it'd be like me just calling up Zachary directly and be like, "Hey, I'm not going through city council for this. Here's $200,000. Do what I tell you to." Like, and guess what? $30,000 of that goes directly into your pocket. Like, that's
Hit
highly
me up when you
illegal.
get that kind of money.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Oh no, this isn't my money. City's money in this scenario.
That's
Please
right.
don't.
This
I'm
is
not doing this.
for
Yeah.
legal reasons.
This
This is a joke.
if quite literally for legal reasons, this is a joke. Or sorry, this is a example and a joke.
Yeah, hypothetical. Like
Yeah,
like
very big
yeah.
hypothetical. I swear if there's a contract between us, our city and our company for $200,000, I quit.
That's crazy. We
Yeah,
don't
the
we don't.
coincidence. Yeah, the coincidence would be extreme. All right, so let's
Brian's
see
like, get me
here.
out of here before I say something.
Yeah, before I keep digging a hole. Trying to see if I can get this pulled up here. Nope. All right. So I've got my wonderful article here. Let me see if I can get this shared. I still have some of the articles open from last week, if that tells you how often I close my tabs. All right. So can you see my screen? Just double
Hopefully,
checking before we get started
uno
here.
momento.
All right.
Anytime now. There it is.
All right. Cool. So obviously this is a picture of Trump and Putin at the Anchorage meeting, and
Is that who that was? I didn't know.
yeah. I mean, well, some say it's his body double, Putin's body double. So who knows if it was actually him or not? Kidding. But yeah, so there was a summit that happened between Trump and Putin in Anchorage, Alaska, and just a few weeks ago, actually last week, and this was kind of the first of hopefully three major meetings between the parties at hand in this conflict. So Donald Trump wanted to meet with Vladimir Putin to obviously work out a ceasefire deal with Ukraine and Russia. And he kind of, quite literally rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin to come to Alaska and to discuss the terms for potential ceasefire and kind of, how they want to lay that out. Um, this meeting was, I believe, scheduled to last until 6 p.m. I can't remember if it's 6 p.m. local or if it was 6 p.m. Eastern, but it ended at either 2 p.m. local or 2 p.m. Eastern. So it ended 4 hours ahead of schedule. And there was also supposed to be a press conference afterwards where the two would take questions from journalists. So they scrapped the working lunch. Now, I also want to preface that these two weren't together one on one. There was a meeting back in, I believe, 2018 where Donald Trump went and met with Putin with just him and his translators in Helsinki. And that kind of raised some red flags, like as to what was said, because there's no official transcript of that meeting at all. Just like so far, there has been no official transcript, I believe, of this meeting, and there may never be one that's publicly available. But yeah, so there was it was Marco Rubio, um, and then I forget the name of the individual who was a special envoy to Russia, and then it was Sergei Lavrov, and then another administrative
Yeah.
individual
Is
for
that
Russia.
like Steve Witkoff or something? Is that
Steve Witkoff, yep, was the guy on the American side, and I do not know the name of the other individual on the Russian side. But yeah, so those three people were in that room together and talking and discussing those plans. And like I said, there was a working lunch that was scheduled that was scrapped, and then they proceeded to end the conference about 4 hours early. Now, they did talk for, I believe, about 2.5 hours. So there was, I would imagine some substantial discussions that occurred. but it's obviously really hard to tell how they went. Obviously, there's been some developments as of late, which we'll cover in just a second. Um, but when the press conference came, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin came out to both their respective podiums. They both gave some short speeches. Vladimir Putin's was a bit of a history lesson. Donald Trump was kind of explaining, how the meeting went with the most vague terms possible. Actually, a lot of people said there were more questions that they had after the meeting than they had before. And then they both
Yeah,
proceeded to not answer a single question. So,
I would
what
have
are
more
your guys'
questions too.
takes? Yeah, so like what are your guys' takes? Like did it go well? Did it go horribly? Like do you think that
Well,
they actually came to some agreements or and they just wanted to keep them on the down low? Like
why would they?
so
So if
okay.
they're, my thought is if they're really getting this, what is the word he uses?
Ceasefire?
A peace deal.
Ceasefire. Yeah, the ceasefire is what they've been calling it like pretty continuously.
Yeah, but they want a peace. They're trying to get like
Right, a
a
long-lasting
peace
peace.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thought is we would know, we would have heard something about that if they came to some understanding along those lines.
I would agree with that. Zachary, any tidbits of wonder?
It feels like a big nothing burger to me. Like the
Yeah.
sides were probably far enough apart that there wasn't anything useful to really come out of it other than, yep, we still got nothing.
We met.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, we
Now,
met.
We
I
did
am
something.
curious since Trump then met with Zelenskyy,
Mhm.
some of the European leaders and whatnot. That would maybe indicate that, like, Trump obviously had something to bring out of the meeting, or it was to
Mhm.
get them all together and go, look, probably not going to happen. So we're going to have to start trying to figure out, like, what the plan forward is if Russia's
Like
just going to keep on
like
going.
baby
So
steps. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd be curious to know. Like, I'd be curious to know if either of them like conceded on anything.
so that's the thing is that there are reports like that they did. So when Donald Trump came out of that meeting, he basically said he's like, we've come to agreements on a few things. There's still two things that we haven't agreed on that are smaller, and then one very big thing that we haven't quite got there yet. Is some, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to that effect.
Okay, but
So
then what is it?
right, exactly. That's the grand old question. What is it? Um, and
I'm
then
willing to
Donald.
bet at least one of them had to do with the land concessions from Ukraine.
Yes, I
And
Okay.
agree there.
Yeah.
good luck with that.
Right,
Right. Yeah. Well, that's
and
why they
so
started the whole thing in the first place, is it not?
yeah, well, it was technically to root out the Nazis in the Ukrainian government. I believe was like one of the first reasons that
Interesting.
Putin decided to invade. Um, so, but yes, I believe as of right now, kind of as far as I know, the biggest sticking point is that Russia wants all of the Donbass, which let me see if I can pull up Ukraine map. Ukraine. Yeah. So
It's stuff like this that makes me wish I was like a war historian, where I could just go back, I could just pull from my like wealth of knowledge about why wars were fought and see
Jake,
if
there's still
anything
time.
correlates. Yeah, but yeah.
All right.
Hey man, I'm just
So
trying to get by right now.
just trying to exist, trying to vibe.
Trying to vibe, yeah.
So this is obviously the war map in Ukraine, and this is a cool little map. This is
It is cool.
liveuamap.com. They also have Israel, Palestine, Syria, and the Balkans. All right. So here, I believe, is the Luhansk uh, province, or kind of think of it as like a state, if you will. And then the Donetsk, I believe, is the Donetsk Oblast. So I believe that Russia wants pretty much everything that's highlighted in red here, like in this outline.
Hmm.
Um, so that's pretty much all the land that they for sure want, while also retaining Crimea.
So what would
Um,
that so if they say they get that land, what does that do for them?
so Ukraine is very Eastern heavy in the sense that um, a lot of the country's mineral resources and manufacturing and industry is in that eastern and southeastern flank of the country. So
Mhm.
a lot of the manufacturing is in Mytopol and Kherson, and also Mariupol. Which there was a huge amount of fighting over these three cities in the very beginning of the war. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of the most deadly fighting in the war happened right here in those three cities at the beginning. And then if you remember back in the day, that Zaporizhzhia dam was destroyed and all that stuff flooded along there. So that happened right along here. But so a lot of the manufacturing base and industrial base of Ukraine are located in these eastern segments. And Russia wants them for obviously their mineral purposes,
Mhm.
but also to cripple the Ukrainians' ability to kind of fend for themselves as time
I
goes on.
see. So
Yeah, it's just
like starve them out.
right, but like industrially starve them out.
Industrialists.
So like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So like, imagine if all of our industry was concentrated in the state of Texas and Mexico. You
Mm,
know, they were
yeah.
obviously trying to take Arizona, New Mexico, like Louisiana and Texas, but they would be like, yeah, we'll just take Texas if you guys are willing to surrender. Like that's kind of what's going on here. It's like we would love to take more, but if we can take this and call it a day and then regroup and potentially do it again in a couple years, and why not? So I think that's the
Mm.
big, and that's the big concern too, right? Is that how long until Putin just decides like, well, we've waited long enough after conquering
Well,
the
that's
first one.
right. Well, that's like the ceasefire versus peace deal thing.
But that's the thing too, is that who's to say he's going to honor the peace deal?
Right. And why does it? Yeah. Why does it matter? Is my question. Like, what are they just terms?
Yeah, they're just terms. I mean, somebody can violate a peace deal the next day, and obviously, the international community has not done anything realistically
Yeah.
to do anything. I mean, obviously, we've provided weapons systems to Ukraine, and we've provided resources along the way, but like, you know, Putin Putin himself just hopped on a plane, and this man is an accused war criminal, and I believe he's actually wanted in several countries. He hopped on a plane, he
And
landed in the United
flew.
States,
Yeah. That's
and
crazy.
and and had a meeting with the United States president. Like he's so seems pretty untouchable to me.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy to
yeah,
me.
yeah, and I mean he's pretty much been a pariah in the European community ever since this invasion started, and now we're kind of giving him a platform to stand on, which I don't believe he deserves it, but I believe that that is truly the only way that you're going to get any kind of progress in trying to end this. Um,
Yes.
and it's the problem is realistically, neither one of these countries has what it takes to totally defeat the other. If we're being honest, Ukraine simply does not have the weapons nor the manpower to, you know, push Russia out of their country at this point. However, Russia also does not have the manpower nor the logistical capability to properly push all the way to Kiev and take out the capital and end the war that way. So this is just, I mean, we are seeing the most modern version of World War One that you could possibly see. I mean, these front lines have
That's
been.
pretty accurate. Yeah. That's
I'm
pretty
gonna go
accurate.
back to this, but I mean, like, this front has been the majority. Like, here we go. Like, so this is so let's go to January of 2023. I wonder how much this updates. Yeah, so like this is I mean, did that map just change much at all to you guys? Cuz that's January 4th of 2023.
And what did it do? Wait.
Yeah,
I
exactly. And
forgot.
what did it do? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cuz now I'll go to August, 12th or 13th here.
And it's pretty much the same. Maybe
Yeah,
a
it's
couple
it's
couple bombs here and there,
yeah,
but
right. It's just been a slugfest of these front lines along here, and they barely shift.
It was
And
very
that's
much a Russia steamroll in, s- see how far
realized
they
they
can
forgot
make
how to
it.
fight a war.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, see how far they can make it, and then just don't lose ground after that. Keep what you got,
Right.
and that's basically it. That's pretty much where we've been for however long now, with just most of the war really feels like at this point it's just drone attack after drone attack.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh hey, look, and this is why you don't want to be on the receiving end of a drone. That's bad news bears.
Those drones are wicked.
Yeah,
Have you seen
yeah.
the videos of them?
Well, and that's the thing is like those FPV drones, those suckers fly quick. Like those things don't mess around. They zoom. I mean,
Yeah, they're.
I don't know. Have you guys ever flown an FPV drone
No, I've never
or
flown a
seen
drone
one
in
fly in
person,
person?
but I've not in person, but I've seen the
Dude,
videos of them. They're
I
crazy.
I mean, I've watched one fly in person, and I mean they're clocking 60 miles an hour. I'm sorry, but you're not outrunning that.
No.
But yeah, so this is kind of where the war is at a standstill, and yeah, it's a horrifically deadly war at this point. I'm pretty sure there's around like a few thousand people becoming casualties in this war every week. um and obviously that's not sustainable for either countries. It's more unsustainable for Ukraine because obviously they're smaller and their population's smaller. But before this war even started, Russia had a bad demographic profile, and I'm sure it's done nothing but get worse to the point where like all of your young able-bodied men are going out to fight. And this is for both Ukraine and Russia, and they're obviously dying in this war. And eventually, you're just going to be left with no young populace and a bunch of aging individuals who can't be taken care of. Yeah, and it's it's unfortunate. And then that's the thing is like there just really seems to be no direct headway. I believe there is potentially still in the works a meeting between Putin and Zelensky. I believe that's something that Trump is still trying to facilitate. But um, who's to say like that? Zelensky, and I hope this doesn't happen in all reality. I mean, I could see why he would do it because his people are being slaughtered. But I mean, who's to say that Zelensky doesn't just stand in front of Putin and deck him in the face? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's how that meeting could realistically go. I don't think it would, but that's
That would be more than decking. There would be a lot of other stuff going on.
right. I'm just trying to make sure that nobody gets woken up by a bright light at 2 a.m.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I I still don't find a way that this war is over by the end of this year, unless something crazy happens, right? And I think that, but that's the thing is that the only way this war is over by the end of the year is if one side or the other agrees to concede land.
What is your prediction then if you don't think it's gonna end in
Um,
the year? Do you think it'll end or do you think it'll progress?
I I don't think it's going to intensify much more than it is. I mean,
Okay.
obviously the attacks
And
on the capital in Ukraine, like in Kiev, and
ever or
oh
just
no, it'll eventually end. The
okay.
thing is that it'll end when one of them gets thrown out of office and the party that replaces them is sympathetic to ending the war. And I'm not even going to say who. I mean, the likelihood of Putin being ousted is much less than Zelensky being ousted. But
That's a good
luckily
point.
for Zelensky, the Ukrainians have put together a stalwart defense the majority of this war, and the Ukrainians seem to have a very much of a we could hate Zelensky's guts, but we're sure as hell not going to lose to the Russians. That type of mentality. Um,
Hmm.
but Zelensky has also said that he's not going to have elections until this war is over, which Trump also said, hey, well, that sounds like a great idea. So you're telling me if I have a war, I can
I
just
did
skip the
hear about
elections?
that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
also, there was a clip of Zelensky in a kind of a merch shop, and there's Trump 2028 hats, so that's fun. Um, yeah, makes
Do
me
you
want to
think
gouge my eyes out.
do you think if I just think of the troops and stuff that are going to get plunged into a war or combat zone that is needless.
Like our
Just
troops?
he wants, yeah, like our troops, because he wants to run again.
Well, oh, are you talking about Trump?
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah, that's gonna be a whole thing.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, I mean, if he runs again, I mean, I really don't know what's going to happen because it's never happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's the thing is that the military has the ability to disregard unlawful orders, um, but it's just a matter of will they?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if the people who are going to decide if their orders were lawful or unlawful are in charge, then who's to say that they're not just going to get thrown into the brig? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that's definitely a concern. That's a huge concern. I mean,
Hmm.
and just in this Ukraine Russia conflict, I mean, there's been statements out there, I believe, that said that there are security guarantees in place that could potentially put United States troops on the ground in Ukraine when this peace deal is signed as a protection against Russia. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I could see that being beneficial, but
Yeah. But like,
yeah,
still,
and
that puts American troops
exactly,
on the
and
line, on the front
all
lines.
all it's going to take is something to happen, and next thing you know, there's going to be a lot of diffusing that needs to occur in order
Well,
for
and
there
they would
not
be
to be
and they're going to be the last to know. Those
right.
American troops.
So you're right. It's we live in interesting times, and I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I want to live in uninteresting times.
Yeah, I want to go back to like what, yeah, when I
19,
didn't know anything
19,
about, yeah, yeah,
1985.
when I knew nothing about politics.
Yeah. Oh no, come on, Jake. We need you to know everything about politics. We need
Oh
you to
yeah, I mean, yeah, but like,
never. If you touch grass again in your life, I'll be disappointed in you.
I touched grass today.
Oh my God, you monster! Don't you know that you're never supposed to touch grass? You're supposed to be just totally pigeonholed to the internet at all times.
Yeah, fall down. Just call me. What's the guy's name? The conspiracy theory guy?
Alex Jones.
No,
Oh,
was it
which
Jesse
one?
Ventura?
Oh, I don't know. Carmen San Diego.
No. There's a
Oh,
show. It was called like Conspiracy Theory.
um,
I don't
but
know.
yeah. So
I'll find it.
obviously, this is a very much of a work in progress slash ongoing event. I'm sure there will be more
Yeah,
meetings.
Conspiracy
Um,
Theory with Jesse Ventura. Oh, that's right.
Jesse Ventura. Okay, so you're right. Look at
Yeah.
you go. Hell yeah. I mean, this is gonna keep changing though. Like, whenever if a meeting between the two of them happens, the biggest outcome I think will happen after that meeting, regardless of what it is. Whether it's a nope, we're done talking, we're gonna fight this out until the very end, or yep, we've made some concessions. Like, we're gonna give them Donetsk and Luhansk for express approval into NATO. Like one of those two things. Like I could see that. I could see that being a genuine trade. Like Zelensky says, I need signed guarantees from all of NATO that they're going to rebuild Ukraine and invest in its infrastructure. And they don't even need to invest in military security, but we're going to be protected by NATO. I'm going to give up Donetsk and Luhansk, and this war will be done. But Ukraine will be a permanent member of NATO. I could see that happening. I think if Zelensky got that guarantee and basically like Zelensky signs the papers, even if he says like even if they make it so he has to leave office because he said that too. He's like if me leaving office ended this war tomorrow, he's like I would give up this position in a heartbeat. So I think if they got those three things where Zelensky's gone, that Ukraine gets into NATO and Ukraine gets infrastructure rebuilding guarantees from all of NATO or Europe, and then gives Russia Donetsk and Luhansk, I think the war's done.
You really
But
think Putin's gonna let Ukraine be part of NATO? That's been
no,
half
nope,
their
I don't.
stance this
I
whole time.
don't. I totally don't. I don't think that happens. But I think that that's the only way that Zelensky agrees to give up Donetsk and Luhansk. That's like I
That's
think
fair.
he's kind of conceded that Crimea is toast. I mean, Crimea has been in Russian hands since 2014. It's been 11 years, and there's really no sign of Ukraine have even sniffed getting it back.
Yeah, no.
So I think that that's just kind of written off at this point. I mean, because I know Zelensky basically said that he wants it back, along with Donetsk and Luhansk. But the only way he gets that back is if NATO comes in and steamrolls Russia. But like I said, then we have the lights on at 2 a.m. and that's not a good thing. So
So I
Yeah.
think that there's a couple things that'll have to happen before Ukraine decides to give up that territory simply to just end the war. And that's
Mhm.
going to have to be obviously the security guarantees from NATO afterwards, but
Mhm.
or from whoever, even if it's not NATO. They were talking about just security guarantees from the European nations, not necessarily NATO. But I think there's going to have to be some kind of like devastating attack in Ukraine that like significantly worse than anything we've seen so far, whatever that
Mhm.
looks like. And then
Yeah.
support for Ukraine in terms of weapons, money, that kind of stuff would have to, start to go by the wayside. Like, your European countries can't afford to do it anymore. The US can't afford to do it anymore or won't do it anymore depending on who's in power. Like once
Right.
Ukraine starts losing support and that like they won't be able to defend themselves. So at that point,
Mhm.
they would have no choice but to surrender or they probably really will lose their entire country.
Right. And that's the thing is that the two worst out case scenarios for Ukraine is they're either going to lose their entire country and the entire country is going to be annexed, or they're going to become Belarus and Putin's just going to put in whoever he wants as president or de facto leader, and they're just going to be a puppet of Russia. Because realistically, that's all Belarus is. It's just an appendage of Russia at this point. Um, but yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that a way that terrible thing happens, Zachary, is Zelensky gets assassinated in Kiev. He gets bombed, or potentially they hack the grid and shut down power for all of Ukraine, something like that, like a massive cyber attack that just cripples the morale of the average Ukrainian citizen. Because realistically, there are plenty of Ukrainians who are
Mhm.
living normal lives in Ukraine. It's just a lot of those boundary cities that are obviously getting bombarded and attacked on a regular basis. And Kiev is obviously
I
getting
mean,
struck by cruise missiles and whatnot.
it
But
probably affects them in different ways.
oh
I'm
yeah,
thinking more
absolutely.
financially.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, trust me, my motivation to go work every day would be pretty low if I, just saw cruise
Yeah.
missiles flying over my head. I'd be like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. I'm working from home today.
Right. Just another manic Monday.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
all right. Well, we have 15 minutes. Do we want to like speed run this? Some policy changes that you want to like one policy change that you would want to see.
Does it?
Um,
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
don't know
You
if
can
it's a
ask. You can
policy. I
ask a
don't know if it's.
clarifying question.
I don't know if it's policy. I'm thinking of something. I don't know if it's policy per se, but something I do want to see.
Mhm.
But I'll wait. Someone else can go first.
Oh, you want
I
somebody
got
else to go
this.
first? Zachary,
Yeah.
Easy.
okay, you go. Ooh,
Very on
easy.
brand.
All right.
Stop the war on climate research, not climate change, not whatever. But
Mhm.
they announced today, or I think it was today or yesterday, sometime recently, that NASA will be ending all of their like Earth climate research because
What's the reason?
because
What's the reason?
NASA
Because
was
yeah.
meant for space, not Earth.
Earth is a
Yeah,
planet.
because the person, Trump installed, here we are. So there's a chance that any Earth, Earth science that NASA may be doing will just stop. And along, keep going with the NOAA cuts. Like we are, it hurts. It hurts and I hate it.
so bad.
So that's mine.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Uh, I I am, as somebody who would love a home sometime before I die. One of the things that I think should be absolutely illegal is for private enterprise to buy
Buy
a home.
houses. Yeah,
Yeah, but to
and
buy single family homes. You can buy apartment complexes all you want. You can buy townhomes for all you want. Like combined unit townhomes, absolutely don't care. But single family residences, there should not be a single large company that like, and when I
What's
say
the
large
big one?
company,
BlackRock?
BlackRock, Blackstone,
Yeah,
and BlackRock, like the
BlackRock.
two. Yeah,
Did you say
I think that
Blackstone?
yeah,
Like the grill?
the grill place. Yeah, I don't know, but yes,
Is it the
BlackRock.
same? Is it the same
Uh,
company?
it's it's
No,
not.
didn't the CEO
BlackRock
of
probably owns Blackstone though.
didn't the CEO of Blackstone get shot recently?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure that happened.
CEO of Blackstone. I meant to say BlackRock. Now we've gone down the rabbit hole. Stephen A. Schwartzman. Oh no, I was right. Blackstone and BlackRock. There, so it's both. Yeah, because Blackstone is a global private equity firm he co-founded in 1985. So no, but he didn't get shot. Somebody got
Oh no,
shot. An
Blackstone
employee.
Real Estate
Yeah,
Income Trust.
yeah. She got shot when that individual was going for the um, NFL's headquarters in like New York City or whatnot.
Yeah,
But got off on the wrong elevator or got on the wrong elevator or something like that. Um,
killed
yeah.
in a
So
mass shooting.
yep. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would eliminate that because and I get it. Like some people can have like you can have multiple houses. Like as a private person, sure.
Mhm.
If you want to have 10 houses, that's fine. Like I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's when private companies like these companies that have $1 million bankrolls, $1 billion bankrolls, coming in and buying up all these single family houses and then selling them for whatever price they want to set the market. That
Or
should be
or
illegal.
or like going through rental agencies and just renting them
Renting out the
for
apartments,
an
yeah, like
absurd
turning it.
prices.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's effectively turning them into, stupid
Apartments.
expensive Airbnb and apartments.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like apartment complexes. Yeah.
Or you take a
Yeah, for
single
single
family
family
home,
home.
turn it into a duplex, and now suddenly you're making twice the money for one house.
Right. And you split the square footage down to 1,000 feet and suddenly and still people are buying the shit out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll pay 3 times market value for it.
Yeah, which is again, that's one thing. Like if I could flip a switch and have that change tomorrow, I also feel like if you could revamp the housing market right now, the amount of young people in this country that feel like they just cannot get ahead would drop substantially if you just fix the housing market.
Oh, 100%. Like
Yeah.
my grandfather, he was telling me that a lot he bought his house in the 70s for like
For a box of Biscoff cookies and a thing of
39
nails.
39K or something like that.
Which, and just for those watching, for $39,000, do you know what year it was again?
As 19, I want to say 1974, but I don't think
Because
that's right.
that's when my grandparents built their house. So that's equivalent to about $255,000 today.
That's ridiculous.
So,
That's a
but
crazy.
now in 2020, just to show you how much inflation was pre-COVID. So in 2020, that would have been worth $204,000. So it's gone up inflation-wise $50,000 in 5 years.
Hmm.
So yeah. But now that's the thing is that the wages have just not increased either. It's like this is inflation adjusted wages versus productivity. And I will share my screen when I get this pulled up. And then we'll get
Then
into
I'll go.
your
Yeah, I'll go into mine. It's nothing crazy. It's just yeah, I'll get into it. I got two things.
I'll say
Oh,
I have
two things.
technically have a second one too that I thought about while we were sitting here.
Yeah.
So right here, the productivity pay gap. So productivity since 1979 has increased 86%, while hourly pay has only increased 32%. So workers in America have become more productive and are getting paid less for their productivity.
In terms of value of money.
Yeah, and like so you can see like it really took off during the Reagan presidency and then never looked back.
Yeah.
So yeah, the average annual growth in productivity back in 1948 to 79, look at that, was 2.5% in productivity, 2.1% in compensation. Like up until the 60s, it was pretty on par. It was pretty even. And there was some disparity going into the 70s, and then it started to widen some more. And then as soon as we get to the early 80s, it just explodes. And I mean, look at this discrepancy. It's getting worse. This gap is just widening and widening and widening. And
Yeah.
people, people are getting screwed because of it. Like if you are getting paid the same, that's the thing now, is I'm just going to throw it out there. Like if you're getting paid $75,000 today, if you were being paid at the productivity level, like if you were being paid as productive as you were being back in the 70s, you'd be making like $140,000. You'd be making almost double. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
If wages simply kept up, you'd be making almost double than what the average worker would be making, almost double what they are right now, if wages simply kept up with productivity. But everything's fine.
A
Anyways,
lot of a lot of a lot of people are out of touch with this, though. A lot of people just don't
correct. A lot
know
of people
about
don't
this.
understand it. They don't know it. Yeah, some people have been red pilled, some people have been blue pilled, some people have been black pilled. I've been green pilled. Like our economy is so fucked up. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
But anyways, Jake, you go.
Yeah, so mine is I want I hate right now I hate the whole stigma that school is bad.
Like college
Like
or trade school,
I'm
or
talking I'm
elaborate.
talking college, I feel like we're moving towards this era
Idiocracy.
that it's okay for kids to just not go to school or be homeschooled.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like I think that education is taking the back burner right now, and like I don't know where we go from there. Like I don't know how we recover from that.
I did see or
Yeah,
hear.
that's kind of where
think
I'm at too, because if you
Oh,
have if you just have dumb people, they're not I'm not saying everyone's dumb that doesn't go to school, but like I'm
uneducated.
very I'm very thankful for my education, my high school education.
Yeah,
And
it all counts.
I went to public school.
Yeah,
So I
as
mean
you should
I
be.
yeah, like I'm thankful for that, but like kids don't get
Society
that.
seems to be getting rid of it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Kids today are not getting that. They're given an iPad and they're saying, "Here you go."
yeah.
Sound like a
90-year-old man. Back in
90-year-old
my
man,
day.
but yeah. I mean, I just want the world to get smarter, not go backwards.
Which we're definitely, the information age has allowed us all to get information at our fingertips in an instant and then say that it's not real.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy to me.
yeah, but you were saying, Zachary, you
it's like
saw something.
there's ever since COVID, like there's been like
Oh
truancy
yeah,
has just been out of control and
Right.
hasn't really recovered. Like there's
And I
yep,
it
and
doesn't make
it's
sense.
is that a
right.
school is that kid just not wanting to go to school, or is it a parent thing saying school is bad, what it doesn't matter?
This might be a hot take, but I'm gonna go with it's more on the parents than the kids because these days there's an awful lot of I don't like this one specific thing that my school is teaching my child. Therefore, no, I'm going to homeschool them or teach them
I'm going to teach
my
them
own thing or
yeah.
whatever, or pull them out that day because I don't like that lesson they're going to be learning. I think
Yeah,
there's a lot more of that going on than we think there is.
I agree.
Correct.
That's kind of where I was like coming at this whole thing, and I think having your kid get an education, whether you don't agree with it or not, is not necessarily a bad thing
Hmm.
because they'll learn how to be an individual and
That's what
like
we call
stand up for themselves.
well-rounded.
Yeah, well-rounded
Correct.
individual. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to agree with everything that's being taught. Like I remember when I went to Bowling Green, like there were some professors that like I was
Yeah.
just like, that's a really terrible take in my opinion.
I
But
agree,
I
but
still
like it
listened
made
to
you
them.
think. It made you think about
Yeah,
it.
it made you think about it. And the thing is like, that's part of having an honest intellectual debate is like you're not supposed to agree with everything. Like, you're supposed to be exposed to alternative viewpoints that don't coincide with your daily belief of the world's and the worldview around you. Because you want to know why? Because if you don't experience the worldviews around you, you're just going to become this monolith that just thinks one way, and that's the only way you'll think for your entire
Mhm.
life. And then you could get presented with genuine facts that prove your point wrong, and you will not be able to accept them because you've never been in an environment where any of your intellectual thoughts have been challenged
Right.
whatsoever.
And I'm not saying you have to go to college for that. You can just
Correct.
have discussions with your friends, or your
Right.
family. It doesn't
Or
have to.
and the people you're not friends with. Have
Right.
have a,
Yeah.
have a
Right.
conversation with people that you don't like. Like I've
Yeah.
I've done that before. Most
Yeah. I've
times
done
it
that
ends up
too.
with them blocking me on Facebook, but I still have conversations with them
And
until they
yeah.
don't want to have conversations with me.
Right. And people are so quick to get angry.
Correct. I mean, don't
And
get me wrong, I get angry too, but I mean, I still try and hear you out, or at
but
least
you would
like
have
try and agree with certain points.
not even agree. It's just you would sit down with somebody and have an honest discussion.
Mhm.
Try to see where their viewpoint is. But I feel like a lot of like parents just see what they see and that's it. And that's what they want to teach their kids.
This is a side note, by the way. Jerome Powell will be speaking at the Jackson Hole Economic Summit on Friday in Wyoming. If you guys want to watch that,
Actually
so
got tickets, I'm going.
oh, nice,
Yeah,
impressive.
no, no. That'd be interesting though.
Well, Zachary, do you want to piggyback off of Jake's point, and then Jake, you can finish off with your last one. I won't. I won't.
Okay.
Second one, but go ahead, Zachary, with your second thing that you want to see changed.
Health
We could
insurance.
host 5 episodes on
Yeah,
this.
literally
Oh,
look at
oh, fuck.
the the health insurance whole industry is a giant scam.
Yeah.
It is a joke. I saw today two things that really irked me. This gal has lipedema, and she has had that verified by two different specialists, and a certain health insurance provider is denied.
United.
It's actually not, believe it or not.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. It's Cigna for those
Okay.
curious.
Yep.
Denied her surgery because obviously they don't want to pay for it. But in this whole thing, she went on, I think it was NBC, and had like a whole interview, and NBC reached out to Cigna, and according to Cigna, they had a specialist look at her case and determine she doesn't have lipedema, despite two other specialists saying she does, which is why she needs the surgery. And the name of this specialist that Cigna gave is a person that does not even exist. They just made this shit up, so they don't have to cover her. So now, that's not even the worst part. She tried to sue them because lying is illegal, or it's illegal for health insurance companies to lie like that.
Yeah.
But because she gets, I believe she gets this insurance through her employer, which means evidently the state can't do anything about it. It has to go to the federal level.
Okay.
She found out that apparently, because this is insurance through her employer, it's not even considered real insurance to the federal government. As far as the federal government is concerned, she does not have insurance. Because it's they consider it like self-funded or something like that. So the federal government basically told her to piss off. And that shit is bananas to me. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
the entire health insurance industry needs to be scrapped, and we need to start that shit over because whatever's going on now is a giant joke to everybody.
I couldn't agree more. As
Yeah,
somebody
I
who
agree.
now has like, $6,000 in medical debt, because I had to go to the ER last January. Um, I totally agree.
It's
Like it's
expensive
just
to be sick, Brian.
it's
It's
expensive to be
expensive.
sick. It's expensive to be sick. It's expensive to be poor. But the thing is that the people who are sick and poor can't do anything to defend themselves or help themselves. So they just stay, they
Oh,
stay
and
sick, they stay poor, and that's
and
it.
that's
That's
a
that.
great segue into what my last one is.
Yeah,
Is
it's illegal to be poor. Good job, Jake. Hell yeah.
no, it's like
Oh,
it's more so a lot of that like we also and that kind of correlates. We are suffering from like a mental health epidemic too. Um, not just like whatever you want to call it, like not mental health, physical health.
physiological.
Yeah. Um, I think there needs to be more mental health treatment and not
So
like just lock them up.
right. So you're saying, more rehabilitation and less
Yeah,
incarceration.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. I think there are a lot of people that could be fixed and brought out of the system by rehabilitation rather than incarceration. The problem is that the United States runs for-profit prison systems, and that people quite literally get paid to have people in jail.
Yeah.
So there is a literal cash incentive to have people in jail rather than in a institution getting mental help. Um, which is just the reason, like, back in the day when they closed down a lot of the insane asylums, not saying that these people who need mental help belong in an insane asylum, a lot of those places are really fucked up and
Hmm.
backwards places, but a lot
Yeah.
of those people, instead of going and getting mental health treatment at a place that was actually genuinely interested in helping them, they ended up in jail. and
Right.
and
And
that and that's that.
that's I mean in jail is worse for them, these people. They're not
Right.
helping.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is if we ran our prison systems like they do in Norway, where prisoners are actually treated like human beings and not just people with numbers on their back that walk around a building all day long in handcuffs, then potentially you would see less repeat offenders.
And
And
I'm
and
not
that's been
even
proven.
yeah, and I'm not talking about like there are people that deserve to be in prison.
Correct. However, I will say this, and this is probably going to get me in trouble. I think that there are people who absolutely deserve to be locked up, and the key needs to be thrown away. I
Hmm.
still think that those people need to have mental treatment in prison because
Yeah.
even if they are the scummiest person on earth, the most vile person in the world, if you have a chance to potentially change them for the better, even though they're going to stay in prison the rest of their life, right? There's nothing that's
Hmm.
going to get them out of prison, right? I want to make that very clear. Would you rather have a good person in prison that can still provide somewhat to society from behind bars, or rather just have somebody who doesn't care about society at all? They're going to rot in jail. They don't care.
Well, that's
They're just going to die.
and
I mean,
I
and
can
there's going to be some people who don't care, like they just want to commit the crime and rot in jail. But
and
there's
I
some
can
people who commit heinous crimes and then realize, oh my God, I fucked up, and they want to
and I,
make a difference. They want to get better, but then there's no
and
system
and
to
I
provide
can
that to them.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
My only thing with that is those people don't necessarily need quote unquote mental health treatment. Those people need something to do, something that is helps them contribute while they're in prison. Keep them busy, keep
correct.
them preoccupied, so they're not sitting there trying to endanger the lives of other inmates and like like officers taking care of them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be just solely mental
Mental health, you're
rehabilitation.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, they need like there needs to be work programs.
right.
Like have them work, show them how to work like I don't know, food service, factory stuff. Um,
Right. Keep them
well, yes,
occupado.
keep
But I
yeah,
mean,
right.
but
Like
yeah,
have
it's
them
like
contribute a service to the rest of society.
Right. But I, for some of those people, I do think that it does start with having at least a mental rehabilitation baseline, especially if they
Yeah,
show no remorse or very little remorse for what they've done. Obviously
right.
something needs to be done to kind of get them off that track. And I'm not going to say that everyone's going to be able to be fixed. I mean, I get that that's an impossible
Yeah.
notion to. I mean, but the fact that we just treat criminals here the way that we do is a easy way for them to reoffend. Um,
Uh, well,
because
my
people
thought,
oh, go ahead.
my thought with that is like the just the drug criminals,
Mhm.
the people that do drugs and just mess up their whole life.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, and that's the thing is people think that these drug addicts are like the scummiest people on earth, and it's like no, they're probably just one person who made one wrong decision too many, and next thing you know, they're stuck in this lifestyle forever.
yeah, yeah, and they can't get out of it because they don't have the resources. They don't have the
The network
the
to
network to
contact
do
somebody
it.
to help them. Yeah,
Right. They just go to jail and it gets worse for them, and then they get out, and then they just want to.
the only people they have contact with are the people that they did the drugs with, who aren't in jail.
Right, and they want to get. They will do it again, and they
Yeah,
just end
they
up
want
right back in
some.
the same
The
spot.
only people they can associate with are the people who got them in trouble in the first place, because they were able to make no other headway or no other connections while they were in jail,
Yeah.
because the
Right.
system's not there to help them.
No.
But
Yeah.
anyways, that was we
That's kind of
we
where
like
I'm at.
I think we could,
Yeah.
like I said, we could have like 5 episodes like this. So if we need if we need more ideas, we can just do these types of podcasts where we come up with these ideas and then rant about how shit's so fucked up. But
Yeah. I mean, and that's just we're not the only country that's like this,
no,
like
we're not.
that
It's
per
just
se.
there's like if all the countries in the world just pulled from each other's strengths, man, we would have been on
Right.
Mars in 1252 AD. But here
I
we are.
well, that's another thing about the United States is we're very self-centered.
Correct. The rugged individualism is to our detriment at times.
I mean, it's fun to read about and watch in movies, but
Yeah.
it's
We don't live in the wild wild west anymore. We can chill.
right. Yeah.
We don't have England banging at our doorstep. I mean, realistically, regardless of what anybody says, I've been red, white, and blue pilled to believe that the United States is still the most powerful country on the planet. Realistically, nobody is going to threaten us, and if they
Right.
do, it's if somebody attacks the United States that has a nuclear weapon, it's just over for the world at that point. So it's like if anybody tries to attack the United States who doesn't have a nuclear weapon, they can kick rocks, pound sand, and chew glass for all I care. Like it's just not going to happen.
It's yeah, and that's
I'm
just the
America
way it is.
supreme in that regard.
Hell yeah.
Scree! Eagle flies in the background.
Yeah, I want to be clear too. We're not we're not America haters.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But
I love my country, which is why I want to see it
yeah, I do
improve.
too. Well, that yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of it though.
Yeah.
Is like having that desire to improve.
Yep. Exactly. And that's what you should all have the desire to at home. You
And
should
yeah,
all
just
have
an
the desire to
individual as
improve
an individual too.
yourself, your community, your country, and your world. 4-H for everybody.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But well, I say we've gone a little bit over on time, but if Zachary, if you want to throw up the satellite imagery of Aaron, if you've got it,
Ooh,
I
that's
know
right.
we don't have
Let me-
visual of it anymore, visual satellite, because it is now dark. But yeah, this is a good conversation, guys. I actually kind of like where we can bring up topics of things that we'd like to see improve, because we can do this on another episode where we bring up a topic like that and then pull up some of the hard data on it like live. So
Yeah. Yeah.
like yeah, we
I have
could
my
do
I have
incarceration rates, and we could do
I yeah, I mean I like I'm thinking of like
I
police safety as well with all that stuff.
right. I
Cuz
mean,
it like if everyone is like happy, everyone has like their job, everyone's going well, it's everything's going well, then
yeah,
I
if
mean
people
it
in
reduces
society are
risk for
happy,
officers.
yeah, you're gonna have lower crime if people in your society are happy
Yeah. Yeah.
and well off. Not just happy, but well off.
Right. Yeah.
I would believe that people would be much less inclined to steal if they had money.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
mean,
people.
To be fair, there's white collar crime though. That's different. That's a different type of stealing.
Well, yeah, well, yeah, our government does that, but
Right.
what government doesn't?
Right. Look at her. I mean, in reality, that's a big hurricane. I mean, that is a massive storm.
Yeah, the
Look
wind
at that bad boy.
field is
Holy
like,
shit!
I don't want to say like tropical storm force winds go out like, but almost like 150 mile an hour from the center, which is bananas.
Yeah. Like I thought I saw somewhere where it was like that storm would span from Chicago to New York, which for a hurricane that's big.
Yeah, the U.S.
But yeah,
dodged a bullet on this one.
Yeah, because imagine if that thing went over where Helene went. Ugh,
Mm-hmm.
God.
Oh God.
0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And I did not
What was
realize
it?
that.
Helene, and what was the other one?
Milton.
Milton. Yeah. That hit like in the same week.
Yeah, like 1 week after the other.
Yeah.
What did you say, Zachary? You didn't realize what?
I didn't realize that Weatherwise had the geo color, so you can see like kind of the visible at night.
At night, yeah.
Which is fun.
At night.
Oh.
All right. Well, guess what? We only have 20 minutes until game time for the Cincinnati Reds.
Speaking of,
which
the Mets have lost.
Oh, it's time.
So
Reds supreme. Jake, we need you to be a Reds fan tonight.
I mean, I'll root for an Ohio team.
Hell yeah.
Lost, so.
Hell yeah. You're rooting against the Angels, so does that help?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
I hate
Yeah,
the
you're
Angels.
rooting. There you go. Perfect. Ooh, look at that. Sorry, I was seeing all the different satellite images that were being brought up. Yeah, look at that. They're warming up. They're on the field. They're throwing the ball around, Jake. You ever seen this stuff?
What?
Yeah, you can see like the players on the field like actively playing toss and stuff like that.
Yeah, this isn't even the cool
Playing
version.
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
playing toss?
Yeah.
The hell's playing toss?
Yeah, okay. Sorry for my wording, but they're tossing the ball back and forth up.
They're just.
You never played
okay,
you never
you're
played
warming
catch or
up.
played toss with your dad, Jake?
No one said play toss, Brian.
All right, I'm gonna toss you out a window.
I'm gonna toss
Semantics.
myself out of this podcast.
All right then.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody for watching. Obviously, things are going off the rails. We're gonna toss each other out of the podcast. So before we get to that point and you see us do it live, we're go ahead and call it quits. So we greatly appreciate all for tuning in. Episode 25, halfway to 100. 100. Oh, I need sleep, brother. I meant to say halfway to 50. I meant to say halfway to 50 and a quarter way to 100, and I blew it. So yeah. So anyways, if you want to like, comment, and subscribe to this absolute clusterfuck of a podcast, we greatly appreciate it. And we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Take care,
Tell your friends. Get them to subscribe.
Yep.
Leave
like,
comments.
comment, subscribe. Please
feel free to
comment.
Chat us up, even if you
Spam
disagree. I want to hear.
No, only if you disagree with Jake, though. I don't want dissenting opinions on my. Thank you.
Yeah, just me. I'm not a great debater, but we'll talk about it.
Yep. Alrighty, everybody. Take care and have a great evening.
Fire, everybody's back out.